That's Steely Dan with Any Major Dude Will Tell You from their Pretzel Logic LP released on February 20th, 1974. 1974, good Lord. Written by band members Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, recorded at the Village Recorder in West Los Angeles with producer Gary Katz. Great record. That was their third studio album that came out, Steely Dan, Pretzel Logic. Good morning, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours on Vaquero Radio, the Valley Student Station. Thanks for tuning in. Got some great music picked out for you today. And as we always do here on Office Hours, got a poem that we'll read out. We'll recite at about 50 minutes after the hour. And then at the bottom of the hour, we'll do our This Day in History. Although, it's kind of boring day in history, I guess. Just not a lot of stuff on there. What are you going to do? Some days are just more exciting than others, I guess. But hopefully you're listening to us on the Radio FX app on your smartphone. You can take us with you anywhere. Yep. Bluetooth on your car. You could put your headphones on while you're on the bus or on the train, wherever you might be. Make sure you bring Vaquero Radio with you wherever you go.
They can text us.
It is and you can text us. Yeah, it's a great radio station to listen to. So we thank you for tuning in. And in fact, it's such a good radio station that the president of UTRGV actually encourages you to read it.
What?
I know. It encourages you to listen. So let's hear from Guy Bailey before we get back to the music. That's Billy Joel with Zanzibar, only on Vaquero Radio. Gotta love that jazzy tune. That's one of those deep cuts from Billy Joel. We don't hear that one too often, certainly not on the radio. Before that, you heard Morphine with Thursday from their Cure for Pain LP. And we started off that set with Roxy Music and Virginia Plain. The theme for today, and I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, the theme for today is songs that have been out there for a while, but I only recently discovered them. Right? That Steely Dan's been out since 1974. It was in the radio, on the radio when I was in my formative years, but I don't recall hearing it until recently. I know, it's bananas. So Zanzibar, I knew a little bit about that one earlier, but that Morphine record, Thursday, I only discovered that a couple years ago, and it was around in the 90s, although I wasn't a huge fan of Morphine back in the day when they were around, but big fan now. Got some other ones picked up that's on the list for you for a little bit later, too, including one from Bread. That'll be a nice one. And then from Genesis with another one from way back that I guess I rediscovered it. I remember when it came out on the radio, but I've rediscovered it recently. So thanks for tuning in, Vaqueros. This is DJ Doc V. You're listening to Office Hours. We're here every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. But once you're done with listening to the awesome music we got picked out for you today, make sure you don't tune away, because at 11 o'clock, we've got the Feminist Hour coming up at 11 o'clock from our studios in Brownsville. And that's awesome. Our hosts out there, DJ Morena Libre and her partner there that are going to be doing the Feminist Hour. They play music, they talk about things that are going to turn you into a feminist. I guess that's their tagline, right? Yeah. We're going to turn you into a feminist. So that comes up at 11, and hopefully you're listening to the other great music shows that we have throughout the week, like for example, Somos Suficientes. How do you say that? Suficientes. There you go. I'm working on it. I'm making an effort, baby. Making an effort. With the song Starman from the album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, released 28 April 1972. Starman was the single from that record before the title track, Ziggy Stardust, was became so popular. So, but Starman, I only got exposed to that after watching the that Bill Murray to the what's the name of that shoot that movie, the Wes Anderson movie that he did, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Yeah, and that really is an interesting soundtrack because a lot of Bowie songs sung by Sue George, who's a Portuguese artist, and he sings all the Bowie songs in Portuguese. So that's kind of fun. Kind of fun interpretation of the Bowie tunes there. So good morning, Vaqueros. DJ Doc V here with you at Office Hours. It is Friday, October the 21st, and it's 68 degrees here in beautiful Edinburgh on the UTRGV campus. We're looking for a high this afternoon of about 87, and over the weekend it looks like more sun. Back in the 90s tomorrow, 91 high, 90 degree high on Sunday. Looks like a little bit more wind expected on Sunday, but a sunny day tomorrow. So looks like it'll be a great day to be out on the island. Hopefully if you get out there, make sure you're bringing Radio FX with you so you can listen to Vaquero Radio while you're catching some rays there on the beach at South Padre. As we do every week here on Office Hours, it's time for This Day in History. On the morning of October 21st, 1966, a landslide of coal waste crashes into a small Welsh mining village, killing 116 children and 28 adults. The accident left just 5 survivors and wiped out half the town's youth. The Aberfan disaster became one of the UK's worst coal mining accidents. The landslide sent 140,000 cubic yards of coal waste in a tidal wave 40 feet high, hurtling down the mountainside where Merthyr Vale Colliery stood, destroying farmhouses, cottages, houses, and part of the neighboring county secondary school. The avalanche is thought to have been the result of shoddy construction and a buildup of water in one of the colliery's spoil tips, piles of waste material removed during mining. That was on October 21st, 1966. Also on this day, in 1861, the Battle of Ball's Bluff. Union troops suffer a devastating defeat in the second major engagement of the Civil War. The Battle of Ball's Bluff in Virginia produced the war's first martyr and led to the creation of a congressional committee to monitor the conduct of the war. On October 21st, 1921, President Warren G. Harding delivers a speech in Alabama in which he condemns lynchings. These are extrajudicial murders, usually hangings, committed primarily by white supremacists against black Americans in the Deep South and elsewhere. Although his administration was much maligned for scandal and corruption, Harding was a progressive Republican politician who advocated full civil rights for African Americans and suffrage for women. He supported the Dyer anti-lynching bill in 1920, and as a presidential candidate that year, he gained support for his views on women's suffrage, but faced intense opposition on civil rights for African Americans. In 1967, in Washington, D.C., nearly 100,000 people gathered to protest the American war effort in Vietnam. More than 50,000 of the protesters marched to the Pentagon to ask for an end to the conflict. The protest was the most dramatic sign of waning U.S. support for President Lyndon Johnson's escapades in Southeast Asia. And finally, on October 21st, 1941, German soldiers go on a rampage, killing thousands of Yugoslavian civilians, including whole classes of schoolboys. Despite attempts to maintain neutrality at the outbreak of World War II, Yugoslavia finally succumbed to signing a quote-unquote friendship treaty with Germany in late 1940, finally joining the tripartite Axis Pact in March of 1941. That's This Day in History, only on Office Hours on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Thanks for tuning in. And we've got another cut here that I only recently discovered. This is out probably before I was born. Here's Donovan with Season of the Witch on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's. That's Phil Collins and the band Genesis from Three Sides Live, Misunderstanding, that was originally released on the Duke LP back a little ways. So we learned something today, didn't we? Yeah. Our guy here, Jan, didn't know that Phil Collins was in Genesis before he was a solo artist. So, that's, if I get one of those moments every so often, it really helps me justify spending my 10 a.m. hour on Friday here doing. It's great. I love sharing the gospel according to good music, right? The gospel according to good music. I know. I should be a teacher or something. That'd be something. Wouldn't that be good? Yeah, hopefully. Thanks, Vaqueros, for tuning in. Again, that was Genesis with Misunderstanding. Before that, the band Bread with Diary. That was another early 70s one. We started off with Donovan and Season of the Witch. That Bread song, really, really interesting. I first heard about that band, not listening to it on the radio in the 70s and 80s, but my first go around at college radio, WSUC, State University of New York College at Cortland. This is upstate New York. I had a Thursday night show, and it was all student run and everything. And one of the other DJs, the one that came on before me, was complaining about getting a call. Someone complaining about music that she was playing. They complained that she played a song by Bread, and I'm like, what's that? Bread. So I checked it out a little bit. But you've heard other stuff by Bread, I'm sure. But I discovered it really late after it had been out. Particularly that song, Diary. The more recent ones I've heard, If and Guitar Man. I knew those ones, but that one, Diary, was kind of new to me, even though it came out in the 70s. So. Just got a few more minutes left here on Office Hours. Thanks for sticking with us. As we do every Office Hours, I have selected a poem that I will read aloud to you here. This one comes from the 2015 Gallery magazine. This was the final UTPA edition, which was before we became UTRGV. And so I thought it'd be a really nice time. This one's called Mother, and it's a poem by Carl Robles Villarreal. Organic voodooist, artist's enthusiast, her soil and rain breed magic herbs, green flowers bloom wide, starfish of the earth. I exhale mystic plant wisdom in vapor bouquets. Her purest soil and rain exude an earthy sweat. Mother Nature's recipe is homemade success. I exhale mystic plant wisdom in vapor bouquets. My organs, clockwork, melt and evaporate. Mother Nature's favored recipe restores Renaissance masterpieces in brighter colors, clockwork lungs, brain, swiftly dissipate consumed by clouds, cherubs, naked Greek men. Like Renaissance masterpieces, but less vague thoughts unfold at speeding ticket pace, consumed in clouds, cherubs, naked Greek men, until clocks tick again, a seatbelt warning. Thoughts unfold at speeding ticket pace. I drive until my eyes are pomegranates, crying seeds, daring clocks to tick again. My seatbelt's on. Go. Glitter fountains cascading through my skin. Won't stop until my eyes are pomegranate trees. Praise Queen Mother Nature's gift. I steer with glitter fountains, escaping mortal skin, ascending rainbow stairways, her psychedelic kiss. Praise Queen Mother Nature's gift. Her sorcery lifts antiquity, rocks to anchors high, ascending rainbow stairways to psychedelic skies. Clocks melt, pulsating chrysalises abound. Her sorcery lifts antiquity, rocks to anchors high, reciting spectral stories sobriety's afraid to describe. In this clockless realm of chrysalis rhythm, Mother lights a path for elevated travelers' eyes. That's a poem called Mother by Carrie Robles Villarreal. Did I say Carl before? I'm sorry about that. Carrie Robles Villarreal. That's a poem called Mother from Gallery Magazine, 2015, the final UTPA edition. Boy, that was something, wasn't it? Oh, man, really strong images there, I tell you.
Just took us back in time.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Well, let's change this up just a hair. I don't want to go over into the feminist hour because I want you to get all of that. So to end our show today will be another one that I discovered. I discovered Lady Gaga a little bit. I was late to the Lady Gaga party, I think it's fair to say. So here's Poker Face by Lady Gaga, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.